And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. And I know where a lot of you are in the world now. Thanks for everyone that responded to that last video where I was just asking where you lot all are. Yeah, all over the place. Alaska, Canada, USA, Wales, Ireland, just down the road in Wellington, and a few others beside. The Yorkshire Dales, like that one. Yeah, I like that. I do like the idea of a sheep farmer out in the morning listening to me while he's feeding his sheep and doing his things. Really nice to hear from you, Sean. I'm going to try and keep this one brief. Again, famous last words as always. We had a few more games yesterday. Somehow, some way, somehow, I don't know how. Sitting on about 130 green, which I'm kind of happy with since I've still got Bruno to go. Oh man, there was a wild swing there at the end. Obviously Haaland hauled. Kind of knew he would, to be honest with you. Kind of knew he would. But that penalty, that I don't know if anyone would have been in a similar boat to me, who had obviously had the Saka. In fact, I suspect a few of you were, but had the armband on Saka, who did very well. Haaland vice captain, but also had O'Reilly in the team. And I'm pretty sure, I haven't looked back at the replay, I did actually get up in the middle of the night to watch that one, I have to admit, but I'm pretty sure it was O'Reilly that actually cleared the ball out for the City player, can't remember who it was now, to race through and round the keeper. It would have been freaking O'Reilly assist, maybe some bonus because he had his clean sheet, and he was actually getting really close to freaking DEFCON. He was one off DEFCON, and he got subbed with 2 or 3 minutes to go. But instead of getting an O'Reilly assist, maybe some bonus, never know. It was another fucking Haaland goal as I watched 100k come off my rank again. But listen, that's been churlish, isn't it? Finally get a clean sheet out of O'Reilly. 68 points. Bruno to go. Fairly highly owned, but Bruno Hall would certainly jump maybe 30 or 40, 50, maybe. Who knows? Who knows? We'll see what happens. So it'll be nice to be cheering United along, and hopefully Bruno can do us a favour. It will, as always, be what it'll be. But hopefully that I should have some shade of green by the end of this and stop the rot that has been happening. Anything else to sort of say on yesterday's games? Thiago. So it's just sort of coming back to get up there. Ciao. There's some players I'm going to have to go. I might go back on my not doing a transfer this week thing. Chow is proving entirely frustrating. Did get his DEFCON. That actually, his yellow card, yeah, was another drop. It's just so tight at the moment. One point drop. So remember what I always say: do not count your points until the games are over. And once again, Newcastle, it was the penalty last week, and yesterday it was. Oh, that's actually looking pretty. Oh, what's just got? Where did all the games? Chow got yellow. Yeah, and we can also see the frustration there of Mukiele, first off the bench, and I was wondering, was I doing the right thing with Newcastle's away record? God, that 9 points would have been spectacular. So it went from about, what was it, 980 and at 850. I reckon that 9 pointer would have been what's ifs, buts and maybes. Usual story of a game week. Anything else interesting in there that I didn't cover yesterday? So yeah, we've done the goalies. Yeah, got nothing, deserved nothing. Hopefully we can see some points start to come off that Dubravka River Bergen rotation in the coming weeks. Timber, I don't know, thinking of getting out of the Arsenal defence completely, thinking about it. O'Reilly, yeah, grand. I mean, City look like they're somehow scrambling some clean sheets. I can't believe he nearly got DEFCON. Frustrating getting the substitution. Then the one time I didn't want him to be subbed with the clean sheet intact. I think shit, he's one off DEFCON. Just hang in there, and bang. Of course, that's the time he gets taken off, having not been substituted for weeks on end. Chow just spoken about. Newcastle, very frustrating. Different story at St James's Park, I know, but you know, you play home and away. You do want well, you need something, don't you, away from home sometimes. Whiffer, yeah, again, finished one off bloody DEF CON. Handy little buy. I've actually seen one or two of the other content creators actually starting to take a little look at him now as an enabler. I don't think anyone was talking about him. The other guy that would be quite useful as well, I think, would be Lafee, but I'm on Whiffer at the moment. I think that may stay for a while now. Just sort of looking there. I think he's actually could prove to be a more astute purchase than I initially thought. He was initially an enabler, knew there'd be a bit of DEF CON, but I haven't had a look back on that. There's a little bit of attacking intent there, and as a little bench warmer, but you know you can bring him in for a little 4-pointer, because like I said, he should have had his DEF CON. Paramount Lovely, the powerhouse midfield so far. Palmer, Foden, Saka, Bruno to come. So far, that powerhouse midfield doing what I wanted it to do. And yeah, Haaland. Yes, the points look very pretty, but every single one of them was 1 point for me, and then a half point, but for a player that everyone's got, and then a half point off me for all of those that have the captain's armband on them. But you know, I can't complain. Tricky one this week, I think, as the last of the triple captainers pile in on the West Ham fixture. So it could be another one, sadly, where Haaland goals, although probably less of an adverse effect than this week. There will be a lot of triple captainers, you know, having to get rid of their chips and going in on Haaland, that have been waiting patiently, unlike some of us, for that particular fixture. It is what it is. That's the game. I mean, I had a good one of the few chips that worked for me this year so far. Was the Haaland triple captain all the way back a long time. It seems such a long time ago now. Now Thiago's a different story. See, I'm not sure he's very good, to be honest with you. Brought him in because of obviously his price. The goals were there. Brentford were winning penalties. I think it's about 3 or 4 blanks in a row now. You know, and if I do move towards this 4-5-1, certain Dominic Calvert-Lewin is scoring every week at the moment. Do I expect that to continue? No, I do not. But he would be, again, just someone that you know is on the bench and that you can bring in if there are injuries, or it just happens to be a good fixture for Leeds that you could bring in. You might get your return. Because I think I am very, very much leaning towards, you know, sort of this 4-5-1 sort of type formation. Could stick with a 4-4-2. I tell you where my issues are. I feel like I've kind of sorted out my midfield, and as I sort out the midfield, the defence looks like it's going off the rails. I mean, if I'd had any sort of decent returns there, you know, we were looking at the 80-pointer this week. You know, I've got quite a few players on my mind. I tell you who's most on my mind, and I don't know why. Why have I avoided a Chelsea defender, where they've got as many clean sheets as Arsenal, and some of the players have got actually better attacking returns than even your Gabriels, etc. And the reason why is every time I've watched them play, it looks like they've jammed a clean sheet, but yet they keep jamming clean sheets. And I will say the player I'm thinking of, Cucurella, is just keeps ticking along amazingly. Just clean sheets, bit of DEF CON every now and again, attacking threat, and everything. And no one, I think a few. He's not that highly owned, really, given the amount of points he's got. Yeah, where am I? Let's just. Hopefully this will all come out. Right, glasses time, folks. Yeah, I mean, if you just look at sort of the top point scorers, there is up there. Guehi at number 192, Chalobah 91. Munoz now obviously out injured until the new year by the sounds of it. Gabriel, be interesting to know. Wherever I go, I do want to make sure I've got a pathway back to Gabriel. Lacroix, but I think, you know, I mean, it was only a week or so ago where the top 4 or 5 was Palace defenders. I just can't see that being sustainable with all these fixtures they've got coming up. I don't think they deserved a 3-0 loss yesterday. They were very, very unlucky. I mean, City did jam a clean sheet there. They really did. But Palace did not. I was actually quite impressed with them, particularly in that first half. But tired legs make mistakes, and then it just takes, you know, a bit of clinical finishing. And then when you've got the likes of your Fodens and your Haalands, you know, and dare I say it, when, you know, they play, you know, when they are up against it, you know, a Chelsea or indeed a Liverpool. Ekitike's on my mind now. The way things are shaping up at Liverpool. If I did stick with a 4-4-2, could I bring Ekitike in? But just looking at the points there, just the defenders alone, and some of those haven't actually played now for a few game weeks. 92, 91, 89, 81. You know, that's top defenders, and you've got to go right the way down to, you know, 6th, 7th, 8th. You know, even Keane down there in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th. Let's say even Ruben, 75 points, down about 7th or 8th place there. Tarkowski coming up like a steam train, especially once he gets these couple of difficult fixtures out of the way. I covered. I tell you who I want. I'd like to get Chalobah and Tarkowski. And even Tarkowski there at 74. You go further down your midfield there. You know, you're down to, you know, Saka's just got 75. I do think that's going to be, Saka will move further up there because of that consistency. But, you know, Saka's down at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Is that 9? 8 or 9 anyways. But in the forwards, you know, third place forwards just 74 points. Now I do actually, Bowen interests me a little bit if West Ham are starting to find some goal scoring form. If I do decide to stick with a 4-4-2, Bowen definitely interests me, because are we getting to the old adage? West Ham score, Bowen's involved. He did amazingly well for me at the end of last season when I just caught him at the right time, and he just got a goal every single week. Of course, then he had the extra point for a goal. Yeah, because he was classed as a midfielder. 74 points. So what does all this waffle mean? It means I need to do my spreadsheet once this game week is over, put my watch list together and decide where I want to go, and do I want to do a transfer this week, maybe into a favourable fixture, but for someone that I do want long term. I don't think Chalobah's got a favourable fixture this week, and it may just be better to roll this team. He says, come on. Team doesn't look awful. If I ran out like this: Verbruggen, Sunderland home, Timber, Everton away, as I said yesterday. Arsenal just not keeping clean sheets. I could free up so much money with there's a number of really good defenders that I could take a look at. I fancy Everton to score against Arsenal. I really do. I wouldn't surprise me if Everton got a result. O'Reilly, West Ham home. Yeah, that's fine. You've got to fancy that there's a decent chance of a clean sheet there, and indeed an attacking return. Chow frustrating the hell out of me, but Newcastle are at home, and you generally will back Newcastle at home, wouldn't you? But of course I've got the Chow Palmer clash there, and I don't usually like to have an attacker. It's unavoidable sometimes, but you know, I guess I could play Lacroix, or indeed Mukiele, for that matter. With Rum, I'm actually really comfortable now, with him passing the eye test for me. I'm pretty comfortable with Whiffer at home to Sunderland. You can see 4 points there. Sunderland don't score a shitload of goals, and you just never know. I'm pretty happy if there's a little solid 4-pointer in there, maybe a 5-pointer, and who knows what. Palmer, tough enough fixture, but as I say, Palmer in a competition now, whether you know midfielder, you know, let's face it, I mean that is a powerhouse midfield, but Foden, Saka, Bruno, that is so template. Thiago Haaland. It is so template. Defense is probably not template, but it's also not getting me the points I need either. But Palmer versus Chow, back to the point. Not keen on it. So I could move Chow out and buy someone that fits my ongoing needs and starts to free up money, whether I do decide to upgrade with her, which, as we know now, will not be to Dewsbury Hall, which was probably one up first on my hit list. Or do I just keep with her and look to do something better than Thiago by about 18? Well, that is getting to a bone. Or Ekitike. Liverpool have a couple of. They're starting to look a little bit better. Starting to. They've got. We'll have a look at it when I do the spreadsheet later this week. But they've got some beautiful fixtures coming up. Don't quote me on this, but it's like the likes of a Leeds and a West Ham, etc., etc. Two or three really good games in a row, and I do like Ekitike. I think that lad has been so hard done by. He's actually a good, lively footballer, knows his way to goal. Did quite well for me at the beginning of this season when I brought him in. Then, of course, when Isaac started taking minutes, moved him out, and even on limited minutes, he was still getting attacking returns. And he's done again. And what's the story with Isaac? How long is he out for? I don't know. I like Ekitike. I like him a lot. And if it could be sure his minutes were all right, you know what? I would totally go this 4-4-2, getting Cucurella, and then find a way to get to Thiago. And that might mean I just need to look at the dollars, downgrading Timber a bit. But again, I just think there's actually as good, if not better, options out there at the moment. Anyway, that is my waffle, which is now heard, as I understand it, in Canada, in sheep farms, in the Yorkshire Dales, on the cliff tops of Wales, in London, in Ireland, no one in Scotland. Anyway, listen guys, we'll be back. Next episode will be very quick final game at Wash Up, the spreadsheet, the watch list, and Bishop Brennan Cup, because I probably will wrap it all up into one episode, as I said last week. But yeah, had 15 minutes on my hand, got my coffee in my hand. Good scores in the league this week. I mean, this is the thing. It is so hard to get a fucking green arrow in the FPL Don't Panic Challenge. Seriously, again, it's great to see everyone return to form, and the differences in the teams and some of the differentials that have come through. Because I'm relatively happy with my score, but there are some monsters in there this week. We are so close, depending on obviously how this last game goes, we are so close to having everyone on the first page, the 50. I think we've got about 75 in the league, but on that first page, really close to having every single one in the top 1 million now. And in the second page, as it is, there's some just finding the wet sail at the right time, and will be putting us under a bit of pressure very soon. Take care, have fun, play your own game, do not panic. Bruno time.